Welcome to the Game of Risk, everyone. I am your host, OliveXC. I am a top Grandmaster with over 1,000 hours of experience in this game. If you enjoy this content, be sure to subscribe, like, and comment down below. Today, we are doing Tutor Tuesdays, where we take a member of the Risk community, we review one of their games, and we talk about ways that they can get better at the game. Today, I have the pleasure of working with Jake. Jake, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hey everyone, I'm Jake. I actually joined the Risk community a couple weeks ago and have been playing Risk for just a couple weeks. I just got promoted up to intermediate level. I was beginner when I made this video submission, and I look forward to hearing what Olive has to help me.
Yeah, and just so the audience knows, Jake has been one of my earliest subscribers. We've been talking a lot, and he gave me some very valuable feedback with my first couple of videos that I've been incorporating for the audience. You'll also notice that I have my camera. Hi, YouTube. Jake actually helped me set that up.
Glad to finally see your video. See your faces in your videos.
I know. I had 5 people saying it looks such a dashing young man. So my overlay is blocking your face right now from the video that you submitted to me, but you look pretty good yourself.
Oh, thank you. This video's about you though, so don't need to see my
The video is about us. And
that's
how
true.
we can work together to get better at Risk. And that's why I'm excited to be doing this together like I go with you today. And just so the audience is aware, and I'll start playing the video now, this is a classic fixed game on the on the classic map. So fog off, blizzards off, your super standard settings that everybody loves to use. 6 players. And so as this game is developing right here, and we see the different players doing their different strategies, my first thing I would ask you is what do you think your strategy will be for this game?
So initially, when I start a game, I just kind of look and see where do I have the most troops, and currently it's in Europe for this game. So I focus my strategy on gaining control of Europe. Especially in fixed games, I really go for a continent, and I see, all the other continents. I don't really have a strong position.
Yep. So that's an important thing to keep in mind. The other thing to consider is what are other players going to go for, right? Because if you are in a very strong position, but your opponent is also in a very strong position, that could make things more complicated. Yeah, we can also see. Yeah, so we can see the black players going for Australia and the orange player. No Australia, no win. We get a bit of a critical moment right here. You see how you did that? You attacked that 2 and you lost 2.
I did. Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna have to attack those 2 eventually. If I go back a tiny bit, so you see how the white player. What do you think the white player is going to be doing this game?
I think they're going to try to go for Africa.
Yeah. But you notice you still attack the 2 regardless. A small thing you could have done is you could have attacked the just the 1 of black in Europe, fortified your 7 away back into Europe, and given white an opportunity to move that 2 out of the way, which could have saved you a couple of troops.
Yeah, one thing that I didn't realize until probably a week after I played this game was that that 7 and the 2 were actually connected. I didn't know I could go through there.
Yes, it's always good to practice the map. That explains why. And our alliance is on or off this game?
Alliances are on.
Yeah, I would also consider making an alliance with the white player, given how close you guys are in proximity.
So one thing that I do, and give me your opinion, is when alliances are on, I send alliance requests to everybody. Is that something that you would recommend?
I would not, because sometimes you actually do want to get in somebody's face and mess with them. And it makes a lot of sense to do so. And if you make an alliance with the player, they have an emotional attachment with you, and if you break that alliance, they can act irrationally and then hit you.
Okay.
So you're requesting to stop alliances with all the different players right now. You got an achievement,
Yeah.
Socialite. Congratulations, bro.
There you go. Yeah. Well, I do that. So my reasoning for it is I play very conservatively, and maybe it's something that you're going to tell me I need to not do. But I try and play the social game up front and just try and like take over my continent, and then I just sit back and wait for everybody else to start fighting, and then I don't break my alliances until I see an opportunity where I can wipe somebody out.
Yeah. Oh, 1 second. Yeah, I'm back. Sorry, yeah, my roommate just had a little bit of noise in the background. But, so that strategy can work as long as nobody attacks you. However, that could also be very, very boring.
Right. Yeah, it has been sometimes.
Yes. So I've been doing some like shooting of like videos myself to just get some like good content, because some of my best videos on YouTube so far have been on like the classic fixed map, which makes sense, right? It's the most popular way in the way people perceive the game of Risk. But a lot of the times, people just get their continents, and then they just trade cards back and forth because the game is balanced, and then there is nothing going on. So there are times when you can be aggressive versus times that like you can be passive. Like for example, we can see right here that the black player and the orange player are creating tension like with each other. A very subtle thing that like you can like try to do is just clear black out of Europe, for example, without like taking out like the 4, and make black realize, okay, I can't go for Europe.
Yeah.
And then black is going to go all in on Australia.
Yeah.
Right? You did attack one of the black player, and that definitely like made black realize, okay, I can go like for Europe. But again, just like doing like very subtle signals and hoping to create tension between two players without them realizing that you're like the cause of it is like some of the favorite ways that I like to use like the game. As like things are developing here, so again, we saw the black and orange player are fighting. The white player is going for Africa, and now the blue player, hopefully you now this is a big mistake by the blue player. You see what they're doing right here?
Yeah, they're leaving troops in Africa.
Yeah.
Instead of fortifying over to South America, which, based on this board state, I would assume that's where they're ultimately going for, especially since they have an 8 stack in Central America.
Yes. That is exactly right. Like they should be going for that continent, but they are not. Ideally, I think orange in the beginning of the game could have gone potentially like for South America or something, but a lot of newer players go for the no Australia, no win, and they just kill each other. That's why you have to be very careful going for it. Because just because you get Australia doesn't mean you win. And there you go.
Yeah, I've noticed that a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. I notice people fighting over Australia early game all the time, and it just doesn't make sense to me. Because, like you said, they ultimately end up just killing each other.
Yeah. You had another bad roll, but you had to do it eventually.
Yeah, that seems to be the theme of my rolls.
Well, luck evens out like over with time. Also, you got a very lucky set on 3. And I did like watch this game in preparation like for this, so we can see that you're going to be able to go for the Europe play. And now, when you go and the white player's moving out because they're trying to avoid conflict with blue. I like that move. But now, as you turn in your set, and this is going to I think one of the key points of this like session I want to talk about with you, is how do you plan on guarding your Europe continent? Because you'll be the only one with like a strong continent, and no one else will, and that's going to put a target potentially on your back.
Yeah, so typically what I've done in the past, and what I actually do during this game, is I just put a large central stack right in the center of Europe. And the reason I do that is I signal to all my allies. Again, I'm allied with everybody. Like, hey, I'm not going to be attacking you. I have weak borders, so at any time they can come in and attack me, but they open up my large stack to hit them back if they do that. And then it kind of, for me, tells me who's going to play nice in the sandbox.
Versus, yeah, but so basically you leave everything in Northern Europe, right? Like the big area in the center.
Yep.
Yeah, but this is going to be like one of the key themes of this game, and this is going to come up often, like right here, is the area that you place in Northern Europe. It's only connected to like the majority of your territories in Europe, but not located in the Iceland region. You see it in the upper left-hand side?
Yeah.
So players can potentially break into your Europe continent while leaving like your main army trapped, and it can take multiple turns for you to recover and take back the continent. And it can actually be right for players to do this because they want to hold back the strongest player. Well, the black player made a mistake, by the way, of not completely taking the orange player out of there.
Yeah, how would you set it up then instead of leaving them in the center?
Yeah, well, I think, yeah, we'll see how this happens as it like develops, because basically you're thinking about where to put your troops.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it looks like you're putting them all there, and then like you're just like attacking like all the areas. And there's two things that you can do right here. The first thing that you can do if you want to keep things like more passive when controlling the area is you see where you are right there in the Scandinavia region where your 12 is?
Yeah.
You could just leave your two stacks like that. And what that would do is if someone were to attack your Iceland area, you can immediately go and attack it. So you can leave a two-border strategy.
Okay.
The other option of like what you can do is you can leave like the majority of your army in like the Northern Europe, and then leave around 4 or 5 troops in Iceland. So it's a little bit harder for opponents to break you, as well as taking Greenland, as that way you'll still be leaving your army landlocked, but you'll make it so it's harder for players to break you on your weak side. They'd have to open up your big army for you to retaliate. Also, players, like you're seeing the classic thing of 2 players fight for Australia and then someone else waits to the side and just takes it.
Yeah. I have noticed that in a few games.
Yeah. Now we see the blue player just making a very, very nice move of taking out the black player for their cards at this time, because they're no longer needed for the balance of the game, and they'll be able to trade in like the next turn then afterwards.
How do you feel Blue's been playing so far? I feel like they're pretty spread out for fixed.
Yeah, they're playing this almost like a progressive game. They do a couple things right where they know about when to kill someone and take them like out for their cards, and they know how to do it like relatively fast. Like they have camera animations on, but they know how to attack like the 10 or so territories a turn to make the kill. But they don't know about positional awareness, as well as like diplomacy like of the game, as shown when I left their 6 stack within North Africa when the white player was originally going for it. The white player made a very smart move going into Australia after the 2 players were kind of killing them. The black and the orange player were killing themselves. We can also see like right here, like the orange player is very, very weak, but they're spread out, but they have no chance of comeback in this game. Like they're gonna die.
Yeah.
The only other thing is like on Green State, like they have no strategy like at all. They're trying to group things in Asia, but they clearly can't go for North America. So since they lacked a cohesive strategy, there's not much they can do. And now finally we're seeing the orange player going for South America, which they should have done in the first place. But hey, no Australia, no win. Am I right?
That's right.
So now we're in a position where you're the strongest player on the board by a lot. And you said like your strategy is you love to be passive, and you love it when the other players go and like kill themselves, right?
Yeah.
So definitely for like a turn or so, like that is like totally fine if you want to like build up your lead. But we're getting to an interesting point like in the game where like you're like almost doubling some players like in troops, and you have almost like a 10, 15 troops like above like the green player and the blue player. They'll both be trading in sets, but an important principle to keep in mind as you're getting stronger like in the game is if you're the strongest player is how can you advance the game, because remember how sometimes you have like a stalemate, everybody's just trading cards, nobody's doing anything. Yeah, that's because the strongest players in the game are not taking action to like advance the game, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because think about it, White shouldn't be doing anything right now. They're Australian Turtle. They have like the least troops. Orange is about to die.
Right.
And the blue players like spread out, but like they don't have a cohesive thing. So really, it's on you to kind of do something, or you have to hope your opponents make mistakes and just attack each other.
Yeah, one thing that I get nervous about when I get into this position is pissing somebody off and then just kind of being the easy target to gang up on.
Yeah, and a perfect example of this is like let's say the blue or the green player take Africa, and you decide to break Africa but leave your borders unguarded. Well, then they're just obviously going to retaliate back into you, and then you can't do anything about it. An important thing to keep in mind is if you were to retaliate against someone, what would they do? Like in this case right here, the green player just broke you in Europe, right? But they opened up your 31 stack. So if you wanted to go back and hit their 10, you could. You'd still have lots of troops, and you would be completely fine, and the green player would just be in a very, very tough position. But so your options are pretty clear, like at this time about what you like want to do. But let's say the green player didn't attack you. One option that you could do is you can just pick on the weakest player, in which case is orange. If you were to take out, for example, their 4 and the 1 in North America, how would they retaliate against you?
That's true. They couldn't because of the 13 stack in Africa.
Yeah, they're not needed for the balance of the game. So sometimes if you're the strongest player, you can just attack the weakest player, and there is nothing that they can do about it. So those are things that you could potentially do, like when you're very, very strong in Europe. But we can see right here, like as the game is developing, it's relatively dynamic. No one really has a continent besides the white player, who smartly just capitalized on the black and the orange players who are just attacking each other in a very silly manner. So in this case, the green player was actually being smart by hitting you, because you would have just got too powerful otherwise.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes. So now that this situation is happening, you're basically all like in one army, but you can't really do anything about it. Is like how would you try to get out of the situation?
So what I did in this game was I tried to use diplomacy, told green, the thumbs down that I didn't like that, and I made a waiting move in North America to try and see if green's going to move his way out. If green didn't move his way out here, then I would probably try to move my army. But fortunately in this game, he didn't move his way out of Europe.
They're just taking a bit of time with their move, but thankfully I got the free editing of YouTube and just hit the right arrow key.
Yeah.
Jokes are funny. And now we see that I think a critical moment of this game, you're just taking North America back, Europe back at this point, and then just moving all of your troops back into the Northern Europe area. However, we've already shown that people are pretty aggressive this game and are kind of against you like getting like continents. And this is where like the key lesson comes in like for Europe. The green player, if they wanted to, they could break you in Iceland with their 4, and it would take you multiple turns to be able to retaliate against it.
Yeah, I never even considered that strategy of protecting Iceland.
Yeah. The 2 border Europe strategy, so 1 border Europe strategy I think is good if all the players are being passive, because then like you just want to be passive along with them and get the benefits of having the strongest continent on the board and the extra troops and the ability to then pick off like the weaker players and small subtle attacks and taking out their map presence. However, you can see that the green player is trading in, and now they hit you in Iceland this turn. Or did they hit you in Iceland? No, they just fortify.
Yeah, they just fortified there.
Yeah, they're just fortifying right now. But yeah, as you see, the orange player just has like no plan at all. They're just doing random things.
Yeah, they were very chaotic this game.
Yeah, they just suicide. It's like, I want to have Australia, and otherwise I'm not. Yeah. So now we get to one of the critical moments of this game right here, and what ends up happening from the audience perspective, because you see like the orange player is now offline, so you know that they are a bot. Yep. Is you decide you want to go for the orange bot kill, and now we can see like, as you go through this attack. Yeah, you basically put everything down at the bottom. You attack the orange player, then attack down here. You then attack, and you keep attacking the player. You're getting pretty good dice, not losing any troops so far. Yep. You then lost 1 troop here, going down to 4. You then attacked 1 troop again, going down to 2, saying you had like some bad dice. And then you blitzed to take out the orange player. And you got 2 horsies.
I got pretty lucky at taking them out. Looking back on it, it probably wasn't the best move to do at that time.
Yeah. So let's talk about this, right? A couple of things to keep in mind about this play. The first thing is, what is the value of orange's troops? Or of the orange player to take them out? Like, how many net troops do you think you would gain from it?
Well, the maximum I could get is if they had, I forget what cards I had, but if they had, the 2 off cards, because after I set in, I only have 1 card, to give me a 10 set.
But that would be like for the next turn, and it's not necessarily guaranteed that you would trade. And we also think about the long term because eventually these cards are all going to net out. You're going to basically get an extra 2 cards. Right? So it's not really, I'll just get the extra card and then get like a 10 set. It's more of, on average, what can I expect to get from 2 cards? That's the first way to think about it. The second thing that I would ask is like, what is the value of those 2 cards? Or how many troops would you expect to get on average? Everybody wants the 10 set, but sometimes you don't get that 10 set.
Yeah, I think the average is like 8.
Yeah, it's an 8, right? And
yeah.
And you normally get that on 4 cards, right? Because you only get like a set on 3 about like 33-ish, 38% of the time or so, given like wilds are there. So really, you're basically going to be attacking 13 troops to get basically 4 troops back with the cards. It's not really worth it at this time.
Yeah, so, I think my thought process here, while the cards are nice, I think my thought process was I saw them bot out, and I didn't want to deal with a bot attacking my nice, peaceful Europe strategy.
Yes, so here's the other thing. How would the orange bot attack you? They're surrounded by the blue player, and there's not much like else that you can do, or they can do. One thing you can just do is just clear, if you're really worried about like the bot, you could just like clear them out around you and just keep them mostly within like South America, and then just give like the blue player a couple of like extra troops. So that's like one option. But like essentially you're giving up a lot. And the other thing is, eventually if I scroll forward a tiny bit and we take over the board, you see how much territory you have, like 17 territories. Like you're putting a target on your back to be hit.
Yeah.
Like you have so much power right now. The last thing is how you place down your troops. You placed 9 down in Greenland, and you placed 13 in Venezuela. So one thing I want to ask you is like, how come you decided to place 10 troops down here in Venezuela?
Honestly, I don't know the chances yet, and the 6 scared me. And then it was just the set. Like, so I set it in for 10, and I just put them all there because I knew I would beat the 6 at that point.
Yeah. So do you see my screen right now, this calculator?
Yeah.
Yeah, so this calculator right here is, this will be included in the description of the video, everyone, is it basically allows you to see what are the odds of a certain attack happening. So for example, if I were to attack with a 4, with troops defending 1, 100% chance, right? The standard 4v1.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing is in a 6 being a 2, 100% chance. Think of it like an 8 via 4, you're getting close to 99%, right?
Yeah.
So as a true, and finally if you get like something like the 7v3, like the other one, that one's 100% right there. Now, the general rule I like to follow after the troop sizes get more than like 5 is add on plus 5, and that's going to be about 100%. So you can see right here, if I do 6v10, that's around 96% chance, right? But you also need to take over 1 more territory. So you could have done 2 less troops, made that 100% roll, and then going back to the game right here, you could have then put an extra 2 troops here, making it 11, and would have been a much safer kill.
Absolutely. So on the 100% rolls, like what are the chances, like it's 100%, but you might only be left with 2 troops?
It's very rare because, well, let me put it this way, right? If you were to do like only be left with like 2 troops left, or sorry, whoops, a 10v6. So I would say about 4 to 5% of the time, you'd be left with like only like 2 or 3 troops left. More than 90% of the time, you would have more than enough.
Gotcha. That's what concerned me, is that while I know it's 100%, I don't know how many troops I'm going to have left yet. Yep. So that's good info.
Yeah. The other thing that happened at the very end is, you notice how you did a 2v1 right here? You just blitzed it?
Yeah. You
see the blitz chance here, 37%?
Yes.
So let's go back to the calculator, right? As the audience members, you can see I'm a big math guy. I'm always checking the math and seeing what is the most optimal way to make an attack and an optimal way to path something. That's something like a lot of top players do, and some of the work you can do offline. So when you're placed in the same situation in-game, you know how to react to it. So if I were to do a 2v1 right here, we're seeing this is a 37% chance, right? This calculator I'm showing right here on this Wix site is a balanced blitz calculator. Now, if I were to go to this one here, this is a true random calculator that I like to use. So if I do a 2v1 right here, we see that the odds here are around 41, 42%. You see this?
I do, yeah.
Yeah. This is because if the balanced blitz odds are less than, or sorry, the true random odds are less than 50%, balanced blitz will punish you and take away extra percentage points. If your odds are greater than 50%, balanced blitz will reward you and increase the percentage. Since you were doing a 2v1 that was less than 50%, balanced blitz was punishing you and decreasing the percentage a little bit.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah. So thankfully, like, you got lucky and like the kill went through. But the key thing to keep in mind is if your balanced blitz odds are less than 50%, you should switch to manual dice to roll instead of blitzing.
Okay, that's good to know.
Yes. Yep, so now you got the kill, you get all this stuff right here. And the last thing that happens right here is, you notice how you left that 6 right there? And now in Argentina,
Yeah.
what's going to happen to that 6 troops?
Yeah, it's going to get taken out.
Yeah. So, like, you were really, really afraid of that bot. Like, so to kind of summarize, like, you were taking out a bot for 2 cars, and then like afterwards, like any troops left in South America are basically going to be lost. So you're basically like you had an advantage of like 10 troops or so, and you ended up kind of like using all that advantage up to basically take out the bot player. When it could have potentially been used like for like other opportunities. And we can see now, like right here, like as the game like develops, the blue player is continuing to not attack you, but your 6 troops in like South America are just basically over. And now you can see the green player, who's been increasingly antagonistic towards you, has been like your true enemy this game. And they're doing the smart decision attacking you, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you're the strongest player, you have a lot of power in the game, and you can't retaliate now because you didn't leave any troops there. So in passive games, what you're doing of leaving the troops in Northern Europe, I think, is completely fine. But this is a very, I think, aggressive game, and players are constantly going out at each other. And you were lucky here that you had like a nice set in, and you were like, oh, this green player is being annoying to me. I'm going to go hit them. Right? So now you go hit them right here, which I think is fine, and then you clear them out of North America, so they can't hit you anymore. Again, good positioning and taking out their ability to hit you. But then you put it right back in your main stack. Given how aggressive other players are, I think if you had left it back in Iceland, that would have been better, because whether your stack is like a 33 or a 37, players may just hit you regardless.
Yeah,
and now the white player's getting involved, right? So like really your Europlay is not working because like everybody's hitting you. But like I know you hit like a thumbs down right here, but the white player made the right decision. The white, as the Australian turtle, you don't want everyone else getting very, very strong, because you have like the weakest continent. You want constant aggression and attacks and people not having continents in order to gain the full value and advantage of your continent. So now you're in a tough spot right here. And because you see you're getting attacked by everyone, there's not much that you can do. Like the green is trying to get like the Africa continent is letting blue know you need to get out or I'm going to hit you. Thankfully, like they don't, but blue really needs to pick up on these signs, and that's just like a mistake on their part. Like they know how to go for kills, but like their positioning and awareness like showing a lot of weakness. And now you're going for a kill, right? Or now you're attacking Peru. Why did you decide to attack Peru here?
So I attacked Peru because I wanted blue to kind of let me out of South America. And so that was kind of my, hey, I'm trying to move up. I see all your troops are over in Africa. Let me out this way.
Yeah, but blue's going to be going into South America. They have to fortify out that 32, right? Otherwise, like it's going to get smacked by the green player, and both of their games are going to be ruined. So basically, there's going to be one turn of the blue player moving their 32 away, then one turn of them moving their 10 away, and then one turn of them moving their 6 away, and then finally you can then move out your 5 troops. The blue player should just smack you. Like it's just going to take too long. It's not worth the diplomacy of that. You're much better off just leaving those 6 troops there and making it harder for the blue player to hit you. But now the blue player is just being dumb and like leaving the troops there, like being like aggressive. The green player, is just like good game at this point because they have nothing else that they can do. So they suicide. Again, poor diplomacy on the blue player. But if you just waited like one more turn, you may have been able to save those troops right there.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Now we can see as well, because this has been a very hyper-aggressive game by all players. One thing you also expect when you always leave things in Northern Europe, you can't capitalize on other players, right? Who are very, very weak.
Right.
Yeah. So again, very aggressive games, like leaving a 2-border style or small border defense are good things that you can potentially do. Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember this mistake here. I went to capitalize on green, and I don't know how I missed it, but I just totally missed the
yeah. So you just used up like all your troops and stuff right there. And but again, how many cards does the green player have?
Just one.
Yeah. So what's the value of them?
Very little. Very little.
2 troops, and you're basically giving up 9 troops in order to take out the green player. Honestly, at this point, what you could have almost potentially have done right here is almost gotten ready to attack the white player or something. If you basically had saved those troops against the orange player from before, and now the green player here, you could have had an additional 10 troops, and you could have potentially had taken out the blue player, and done some really cool things like holding multiple continents, because given that the white player's 27 is kind of trapped in on Australia. But you can see the prior moves before that cost you about 10 troops. It really adds up here. Instead of you being tied with the white player, you're now behind.
Yeah, absolutely. Would you have, on that last turn, would you have moved the 40 stack out to Ukraine or something? I
would have, because at this point, in a 3-player endgame scenario, diplomacy kind of matters a little bit less. At this time, it's more just about kind of maintaining balance. In very high level play, the standard strategy is 1 player holds Australia, 1 player holds South America, and the 3rd player just dies. Guess who's the 3rd player?
I'm the 3rd player in this situation.
So, in an optimal theory, what the blue player and the white player should do is they should tag team you and hit you and break you. And they can do that by going up above and hitting you in your Iceland continent. So just speeding forward right here. You can see, look, again, the blue player is breaking you in because you were only leaving your troops in Northern Europe. If you just left 5 troops in Iceland, or if you were leaving something okay, now the blue player just suicides into you. That's just stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, I got lucky.
So that was just dumb right there, obviously. That kind of happens sometimes, but a smart move would have been just breaking you in Iceland and just leaving it at that. Probably that they just got bored at this time. The key lesson and point to keep in mind is always consider when it's worth taking out a player for their cards. And in aggressive games, having a defense on Iceland, I think, is critical to get the full value of the Europe continent. Now I get to the last stage of the game. I want to really highlight this. It is going to be how we handle the end game against the white player. So you can see right here, you're just attacking in a line. You are taking out the blue player and now getting their cards, which is good. Going back a tiny bit, one thing you may have want to consider is, you notice how you went down?
Yeah, I see. I should have went up.
Yeah, if you went to the left and you went the other way around, then what you could have done is you would have had your stack ready to hit the white player.
Yep.
And then that's one thing to keep in mind, right? Because you want to get the white player as weak as possible. There is no diplomacy in like a one-on-one.
Right.
So yeah, so you can see right here. So you went through the attack. You're here. You trade in. And now, like you and the white player are equal in troops, but the white player has a very nice number of troops.
In that situation, assume I went the other way, right? And I end up with all my troops in the Middle East. Would you just suicide into the 27 at that point, or would you still?
Yeah. So how many troops did you have left? You would have had 38 troops. Yeah, I would have hit the 27 and then the 6, because you want to get the attacker's advantage. If you can gain like 10 or so troops or something, and you own like the entire board, you can be in a situation where you then turn in a set on like the next turn, and then be in a position where you can then hit like the white player a lot and take them and put them in a very tough position. And if they make mistakes in the 1v1 scenario, you can also pounce on it.
Yeah, and I'm also noticing if I would have ended in Middle East, I could have fortified out one of these other 3 stacks and got 2 extra troops. So it would have been
So like so now like the white player is doing the right thing. They're breaking you. They're hitting like all the areas. Their camera animations are off. Audience members, turn off camera animations. I have a video that I actually put out where I try to win with camera animations. It's a challenge video because it's so hard. But yeah, in a 1v1 situation, you want to break as many territories as possible and to lower your opponent's troop count to get an advantage and hit all of their big stacks. Now we get to your turn right here, and a big decision. It's like you do the big trade-in. You have almost the same number, a little bit behind the white player, but you have the attacker's advantage. So you're in a very good situation. So in this spot right here, I want to pause right here. You see how you immediately went towards Asia?
Yeah.
You made one little mistake right here. Do you see what that mistake is?
Was it... Did I hit the Middle East? Did I close off?
You needed to also hit South America.
Yeah.
Because, and remember, there's no diplomacy in a one-on-one. You want to break all the continents, and you want to make the opponent's troop count as low as possible. If I go back like a tiny bit right here, and we were to count the number of white players' troops, right? They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 13, 14, 15, 18, 19, 20, 47, 53, 54, 55, 67. So it's a basically... but you get the attacker's advantage, and you can be expected to probably gain a couple of troops when attacking, because you're not going to be losing a 1 on every single one of those 1s, right? So you're going to be gaining like those troops through the attacks. You could have probably fortified off like 6 troops to then like break like the South America, and that would further like weaken their number of troops that they would get the next turn. So that way you can like further build off of your advantage. But you can see like you just go through the attacks. And you can see like the attacker's advantage. Look at that, +8, and then +3 right there. You gained 11 troops on those attacks, which is incredible.
Do you think I should have hit that 8 also?
It was probably like a little close. Probably the better thing to have done was probably to leave the 8, and then again, instead of just going all in the Australia, making sure you're breaking off like a little bit and breaking South America as well.
Okay.
Because you want to make sure you're breaking the continents. Because look, even though they're at 14 territories, which means they only normally get like a +4, it's really in a situation where they are getting like a +6. So it's like they have what is it like over like 18 territories. So it gives them a good advantage right there. You did do one nice thing. You left your 13 in an open area to attack them. And you can see like the white player is just going down. They're breaking your continent right away. And like they're trying to reduce their troop count as much as possible. It's a very close endgame scenario right here. So we can see like right here, The white player is continuing to attack. Let's see where they made one mistake fortifying. They should have moved their 7 out to Siam, because that way you could not have broken it. And now you're debating on where to put the troops. So yeah, you leave. You decide not to break Australia. Why is that?
Honestly, I don't remember. Looking at it now, it seems so obvious to get them, 2 less troops next turn.
Yeah.
I think if I really think about it, I didn't want to open up their 7 that they put there and make them spend a turn getting it out. But I'm reaching there. That's possibly what I thought.
If you're only giving them 5 troops, that can make sense. Breaking or not breaking here, I feel is about kind of equal, because opening up the 7 versus not is it comes down to the white player making a mistake of not fortifying to Siam.
Yeah.
So now
I think that's what it was, because I think if I remember right, I try and take over both South America and North America, and with 5 troops, I knew he couldn't break all 3 continents.
Yeah, and you did that the 2v1 again. Should have slow rolled again and got some good dice.
Slow roll it.
73%, and you got the roll. Remember you said the bad dice from before?
Yep, I do.
Well, luck evens out. So now we can see here the white player is only getting 5 troops, and because you had the attacker's advantage over them, it's giving you, I think, the lead in this game. So again, they made those mistakes. If they just fortified out that 7, they could have potentially got the advantage on you. But now you just own North and South America, and there's not much that they can do. So we can see as the game is finishing up, you're getting 16 troops. The only thing you kind of need to do is break them in Australia, and then you got the game right here. But you see you did wait a tiny bit by attacking up from above. Only thing I would recommend there for you is, instead of going from far away, because you had a small chance of failing, it could have been better to just break Australia right away, because you ensure that they don't get that extra bonus of troops, and you're making sure that you're gonna be able to maintain your advantage. But at this point, there's no comeback available for the white player. You have your bonus, and you're gonna get the victory at this point. So let's go, Jake! Woo!
Thanks. Appreciate it. I appreciate all the insight. It's interesting to see how a Grandmaster looks at the game, and I've definitely taken away some good tips to improve my game going forward.
What are you going to keep in mind from this? What are a couple things you'll keep in mind for your next couple of games?
So I need to work on my pathing, that's for sure. If I do the Europe strategy, I don't go into a game saying I'm going to take Europe, but if I do the Europe strategy, I'm going to protect Iceland, maybe do a small second troop count, so I can protect that a little bit and deter people from hitting me there. And then
only if they're aggressive. If they're passive, sometimes just leaving in Northern Europe is fine.
Yeah, and then trying to, if I do get that lead position, take out players that are sort of insignificant to the game, if there's a way that they can't hit me back, and progressing the game forward. I think that was a good lesson today too.
Yep. And the last thing is taking out a player when it's worth it for their cards. Each card is worth about 2 troops. So if a player has more troops on their cards, there has to be a good strategic reason to take them out. As it shows, you're trying to take out the orange player and the green player.
Yep. Absolutely.
Yes, but hopefully this gave you some good lessons and insights right here, and you gained some good information. And I really appreciate you sending over this video, Jake. You've been an amazing fan of the channel, and it's people like you that motivate me and make me so happy starting up and doing this YouTube channel.
Well, thank you. I really appreciate you taking the time and kind of walking through this video with me. It really has helped a lot.
Absolutely. I'm glad I was able to do that. And with that, I want to thank you all for watching, everyone. If you enjoy this type of content, be sure to subscribe and let me know if you have any thoughts or ideas for future videos. If you want to be in a future Tutor Tuesday, feel free to reach out to me in the Discord or through YouTube comments. And I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. OliveXC and Jake signing out.